everyone, welcome back to the Homestead Knitting Podcast. My name is Danielle and I am the maker and designer behind Homestead Knitting. You can find me on the internet under that username on Ravelry, Instagram, and Rippler. First off, Happy New Year to everyone watching. I live in Canada and where I'm recording, it is officially January 1st today. So I'm super excited to finally be able to sit down and podcast. It's been a while. The Advent season ended up being really busy for me, and we've been under extreme cold warning for almost 2 weeks, I think. A week and a half, 2 weeks, somewhere in there. I've lost track of time, it's been too long. So it's finally warmed up a bit today, so my boyfriend took the dog outside, so they're outside, so I finally have some free time to myself, and I'm so excited. I love my dog, but he loves to cuddle on the couch, and he loves being wrapped up in a blanket. And he gets very mad if I don't let him cuddle with me, and he has to sit with me all the time. And I'm just like, I really want to be by myself after at least a week of constantly having to cuddle him and just snuggle, and I love it, but sometimes I just need a break. So anyways, for today's podcast, I thought I would do something a little bit different, and I thought I would show you all of the projects that I have that I forgot about, or that I haven't worked on in a while, or that I've tucked into a corner for one reason or another. So I've pulled them all out and I put them in a box. And I thought it'd be really fun to go through the box and show you all the projects that I actually have in progress. I do have quite a few like scrappy projects, and that's why they've been tucked into the corner, or things that I do need to just frog, and I'll be reclaiming the yarn and winding it back up and using it for something else. And the other thing I want to do, because it's the new year, I do have a planner here, and I have decided I'm going to make a list of all the projects I have for the year, and I thought it'd be really nice to make a list of all the projects I'm taking with me to 2022 and see how many I can finish off within the year. And I also have some cute cards here, and I plan on cutting them in half and writing out the pattern name, the yarn, the hooker needle size, and then punching a hole into half of the card and just attaching it to my project, so when I come back to them, it's not a big mystery if it's a crochet project, it doesn't have a hook with it, if I don't know what yarn it is. Basically any questions I might have about my own project, because it's been a while since I've done anything with it. To take out the guessing game, I want to mark all of my projects, so when I come back to them it'll be super easy and I'll know exactly what I was doing, versus, oh, I was so nice to myself and now I have to figure this out. And the last thing I want to do for the year is empty out my teapot. So inside my teapot I keep all of my yarn ends and little scrap yarns in case I need waste yarn or a little piece for a project. And I also keep all of my yarn tags for the year. So I thought it'd be really fun to just kind of go through it. And I'll probably make a little post on my Instagram later today saying how much yarn I actually used for the year of 2021. And yeah, I thought that'd be really fun. Empty that out and just start fresh. Alright, so let's get into it. Alright, so my first project is so my first project is a Scrappy crochet project. And in case you're wondering how long this is, I'm about 5'2" or 5'3". This blanket is the same height as I am, I guess in like length. We are the same. So here we are. This is my Scrappy Ripple crochet blanket. It's been many months since I've been able to pick it up because it is very long. So obviously I need quite a bit of yarn to be able to add any more ripples onto it. So I'm just gonna try and scrunch it up to show you. There we go. So this thing is this wide already, so definitely over 12 inches. I do have a few ends hanging out on the other side. Oh, a few here too. But yeah, this is my Scrappy worsted weight Ripple Afghan. What else? I think I was making this with a 5.5 or a 6mm crochet hook. I'm not sure. I will have to do a gauge swatch and see. But yeah, I really love this, and I'm going to be able to go through my worsted weight scraps and see if there's any that are long enough that I can add on to this blanket right here. So I'm very excited to potentially be picking this blanket up again and adding on to it. I really love having scrappy projects around. I think they're super fun. I think they look really cool at the end because everything's just kind of marled together, and you never know what you're going to get when you make a scrappy project. Alright, moving on to project number 2 out of my bin here. This is from the Make It Mine hat. This is my sample I was knitting for my video tutorial on how to knit a double brim, and also how to knit the Latvian braid. If you've never seen it, it's super easy and it's actually really fun to knit. This pattern is made with 5mm needles and 2 colors of worsted weight yarn. For this hat, I know I can easily finish this in a couple of weeks if I sit down and just knit on it, so I think I'm going to do the hat in this like beigey, beachy tones, and then I want to finish it up in the pink, and I think I might leave the color work off just to make it super easy on myself and a lot quicker to knit. So yeah, I can finish this, and I hope to have it finished in a few weeks. Alright, moving on. My next project is my Mitered square blanket, also known as a cozy memories blanket, I think. I started this last year. I don't have very many fingering weight scraps that are small enough to go into the blanket, I guess. Like if they're large enough, I'd rather just make socks or something else with them. All 4 of these colors are actually mini skeins that I didn't want to include in my socks because I don't enjoy knitting color work all the time. And a lot of these colors, like the blue would have been okay for me, and I think the purple, but the yellow is like a very, somewhere between green and golden yellow, and it's just not for me. And I really like the brown and like beige and the cream. However, I didn't like the way it looked worked up in socks and that, and they just weren't colors that I knew anybody would overly appreciate, so I'd rather just turn it into a blanket. So yeah, I knit this out of my mini skeins for sock weight yarn, and then I used 4mm needles, so I only have 4 squares done. However, I need to go through my scraps and see if there's anything else that I can add to it, because I think 5 grams of yarn would be more than enough. I think 5, or is it 10? I'll have to look up the pattern and see if it's 5 or 10 grams of yarn. I feel like 10's too many though. I think it might be 5. Anyways, I'm gonna look up the pattern, and I plan on adding a few more squares to it because I really did enjoy making these little miter squares. They're just so satisfying and just such a quick knit. The next thing I have is this crocheted popcorn stitch beanie. It's made out of bulky weight roving style yarn. It's in the gray color here. However, I ran out of yarn here, you can tell, so this is all I have left. I think it was only 1 ball of this yarn, and I don't have any more of it because if I remember correctly, it was on sale and it was being discontinued. So I'm actually planning on frogging this project, reclaiming the yarn, and I'll use it for something else. My next project I have is a t-shirt that I ran out of yarn on. And this pattern was from Yarnspirations. I thought it was kind of fun with like these holes in it. Basically you're supposed to seam up the sides, and then there's some detailing to go around the arms and the neck hole. And there might be a little bit of detailing to go on the bottom. I don't remember, it's been so long. But I ran out of yarn, and just, it's not really my style, I don't think, but I really liked it. And I think there's no point in me getting more yarn to finish it if I'm not even sure if it's my style, because it kind of feels like a waste. This yarn here is Burnett Handicrafter cotton, I think, so it's not even the nicest cotton. So I can easily frog this and turn them into dishcloths or something else along those lines. So I think I'm going to do that. Just frog it and turn it into something I like more. Alright, the next project is this crocheted cardigan. I was making this with Red Heart soft yarn. This is the start of the back panel, so it has ribbing down here, and then it uses the, I think it's called the lemon stitch. If I remember correctly, you do a half double crochet and then you do a single crochet and then a half double crochet, or this one uses a double crochet and then a single crochet and a double crochet and a single crochet. So it gives this really, really beautiful texture, and it's very nice, and I found this to be so just like soothing to work on. I really like being able to pick it up. However, the colorway I was using out of this Red Heart soft yarn was discontinued by the time I actually got around to using it, so I only had 4 balls of it, and it was not going to be enough to make a cardigan, so I just stopped making the project, and I kind of just tucked it into the corner because I told myself I was going to come back to it. Honestly, I just need to frog this project and turn it into a cake of yarn and find another use for it, because there's no point in me holding on to this project anymore. I know I'm never going to finish it because I don't have enough of the yarn. Alright, another one I have going on. This was a design I was working on, however I was kind of unhappy with it for a few different reasons. This is made using, I think it's Red Heart Jewel yarn, something like that. It was a cake of yarn, and it was Jewel something. I think it was by Red Heart. If I can find it, I will link it down below. But anyways, I have this pattern here, and I thought it kind of looked like rose petals almost. So it has some double crochets, and it has like this block stitch. I ended up going with 4 across. I was making a scarf, so it starts here at the bottom and then it just goes on and on and on, and I plan to get to the other side and recreate this shape. However, I ran out of yarn really quickly, and this scarf is also very wide. Oops. So you can see here just how wide this is on me, and I thought it might actually be too wide for a scarf, so I stopped working on it. And I also could not find a yarn that I could match tension with and make it look good. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but this starts to go like this as I started to work up. You can definitely tell on the side where it's starting to go outwards. This was just made with some worsted weight yarn, and I think it was a 4 or 4.5 millimeter hook. I do have the design written up, so if I ever want to come back to this, I can. However, I want to make sure I have enough of one yarn to be able to make the whole scarf. And I just want to put pom-poms on the end here because I thought that would look so cute with like 2 little pom-poms. Anyways, if you like this design, feel free to leave me a comment. I would love to eventually do something with this. Obviously, I need to work up a whole sample of it though. So I'm thinking I might come back to that design one day. I'm definitely gonna frog that one though for the time being. Who knows, maybe I'll use that Red Heart soft yarn and turn that into it. I don't know. It's kind of a good idea though. The next one was, I wanted to make a bandana cowl, and I wanted to have like the neck ribbing, or like the neck band, and then just a bandana in the front. So I made, I double knit, and I knit the picot edge and I seamed it together. I then wanted to cast everything off and do the bandana. However, my sample ended up being way too large, so I just threw it in a bag and I said I'll come back to it and I'm gonna frog it, and I never did. So another project using that Red Heart soft yarn that I need to frog. Why do I do this to myself? Alright, the next project I have is actually for my mother-in-law, so my boyfriend's mom. Growing up, she lived on a farm and they had peacocks, so when I saw this yarn, it reminded me of peacock feathers, and I thought it would be so amazing to crochet her a blanket. And it just starts off as a hexagon in the center. This is my Ice Yarns blanket, and if I remember correctly, this is a 5 millimeter hook. It's actually quite large already. However, I ran out of yarn and I did not want to order any more yarn from Icy Yarns anytime soon. So I need to, what do you call this? I need to buy yarn that will match this blanket, just one of the colors. I'm kind of thinking like the dark blue maybe. I think that would be really fun because right now it's a hexagon. However, I want to turn it into a square, and then I'm thinking maybe do a bit of a border, and I do have a few ends to sew in. So this would be super easy for me to finish up within this year. Just pick up some yarn, quickly finish, just make 4 triangles on 4 of the sides, make it into a square, do a quick border, done. Weave in a few ends. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be dealing with this thing soon. And in case you're curious, I did do a whole Icy Yarns video review on this yarn. So if you're interested in that, it's on my channel, and I do talk about more about this yarn and how it's constructed, because it is a chain spun yarn and it does have the filling blown into it, so you get these beautiful seamless color changes. So yeah, there's that project. Moving on, I have my crocheted sweater that I have not been able to pick up in a while. This is what it looks like. I'm planning on just repeating this pink and then the cream, pink, cream, pink, cream, all the way up to the top of the sweater. Somebody did comment on one of my other videos asking if it's going to be a sweater or a cardigan. The only reason I'm turning mine into a sweater is because I want it to have the X twist in the front. However, you could totally make this into a cardigan too. Just don't do the last minute seaming and it would be a perfect cardigan. Actually got me thinking maybe I do need to make this into a cardigan versus a sweater. So we'll see when I'm ready if I decide to make this into a cardigan or a sweater. This is made with a 4.5mm hook, I believe. The cream color is Loops and Threads Snuggly Wuggly, and I don't remember what the multicolored yarn is. If you're curious, you can go back and watch one of my other videos where it will appear. Oh, okay, we're about halfway through the box. I still have this many in the box. Why do I do this to myself? Okay, so next project. I don't know if I've shown this off in a while, so this is the Stephen West Slip Stitch Extravaganza Blanket. This yarn is Wool of the Andes in sport weight yarn from Knit Picks or Recrochet. And the colors I am using are Oyster Heather for the main color. Then I have Pumpkin, Hollyberry, and Chestnut for this brown. So this is already on a 40-inch cable, and you can see I just did the increase round and it's too small. So I'm really excited to see how big this blanket's actually going to be. This is my first knitted blanket that is made in the round. So I'm very, very excited. I picked it up this morning and I added a little bit, a few rows onto it. So yeah, it's looking so nice and I'm very excited. So there we go. And I do have enough yarn if everything works out to make the small size, so we'll see. I might even get more yarn to make the large size. I don't know. Very undecided. We'll see how big it ends up turning out. Okay. Almost done. This is the dog sweater that I was making for my dog. So I actually did put the button band on the sweater. I did run out of the green, so I just did some of that reddish orange yarn. However, I messed up and I wanted 5 buttonholes and I only put 4. So to fix that, I'm just going to put a small button that can fit through the double crochets here on the button band. This sweater is made with a 4mm hook, and it's made with Knit Picks palette in the colorway Douglas Fir. Yeah, yes. And I was just doing double crochet in the back loop only, so it's just ribbed. And and I'm just putting buttons on it. It's not that exciting. Second to last project. Okay, so for Christmas last year I received 4 balls of yarn in varying shades of purple, and I was like, oh cool, I don't know what to make with this. So I decided I was going to make a hexagon blanket. I worked through about a ball and a half, ball and 3/4, and then I kind of lost steam on the blanket. So I need to grab out my yarn and start making some more hexagons. This was made with, I think I was using a 6mm hook. However, once I work up one hexagon, it'll be very obvious if it's the wrong hook size. And this is made using worsted weight yarn. I think it's Barnett Premium, or it's Red Heart Super Saver, something like that. I don't know, it's just acrylic yarn. So yeah, I have 4 different colors of hexagons. I did finish this like icy bluish toned yarn, and then there's a little bit of lilac left, and then I have 2 darker purple tones. And then I will be saving them all together, and I did want to do a border of some kind on it. Okay, last project is the sweater I'm making for my boyfriend. I'm making this sweater with a 4.5mm hook, and I'm using yarn from Ice Yarns. I'm using Zerda alpaca, and I'm also using Favorite wool. I've been working on one arm because I'm only attached to one yarn ball right now. I do have more yarn wound up for this. I'm trying to use one ball at a time because it makes it easier on me. So it's at least 4 inches long for this arm already. Then you have the neck hole, and then I have my other arm. And I am just keeping track of how many rounds I'm adding onto one armhole, because then I will go to the other armhole and work that same amount of rounds, and then I will keep track if I have more yarn left over, how many rounds I did. And I'm just working both sleeves at the same time, or as close to it as I can, because I don't want to have one sleeve super long with the, let's say 70 rows, and then I go to do the other sleeve and I only do like 50, because you know, you can pull on it and it'll look different, and depending on the weather in that, it can affect your yarn. So yeah, just a little bit of shaping here, and then it has a chevron on the body, it has the pocket. So those are all the projects that I have, and now I'm going to be making a list for myself of all the projects I did not complete, and I'll be frocking projects and just kind of seeing where I can go from there. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'll see if I can podcast again in 2 weeks. I'm not really sure. It's been pretty crazy behind the scenes between the weather and just having a lot of other things on the go. So yeah. Oh, last but not least, I did finish that sock for my dad I was working on. However, I'm going to go see my parents tomorrow because we're going to be celebrating Christmas. So in case you're wondering why you didn't see that sock, it's why I finished it before the new year. Definitely, because I already had it wrapped up a couple of days before the new year. So it's already wrapped up and ready to go. However, if I remember, I may take a picture or a video of my parents opening both their socks, because I didn't end up seeing my mom after her birthday or before. So I will be giving my mom her pair of socks, and I will also be giving my dad his socks because his birthday is in 3 days. So he can have an early birthday gift. So anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you had a good time. Thanks for hanging out with me.